Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to channel CodeX. This is your host Afzal, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the fundamentals of BLoC Pattern. In recent video I have covered the implementation part, and this video I'm going to talk the best practices inside BLoC Pattern, how to close it, how to create multiple subscription, and all those stuff we're going to talk. And at the end I'm going to show you one live example with the news API, and that I'm going to integrate with the help of BLoC Pattern. So all that we're going to do in this video. Make sure to watch full video, and we are going to start right after this intro. Now we are inside Visual Studio Code, and as you can see we have this two-stream controller which we created in our previous tutorial, and if you haven't seen that, I'll put link in the description. You can go ahead and watch that, but that's totally fine because we are just going to talk about the fundamentals, the basic stuff about stream controller and BLoC Pattern. So you can watch this video first and then you can jump to the second video. Alright, so if you can see over here, there's a blue zigzag line, and what it says that there's something missing, there's something needs to be done. If you hover on that, it says close instance of .CoreSync. What it means that this stream controller has been created, but at nowhere this is being closed. So what happens whenever you create a stream controller and whenever you are trying to listen to the stream, it has to be closed, because what will happen once your page gets destroyed, when your variable gets destroyed, this stream will still be listening and the pointer will be like it's pointing nowhere, but it is taking the memory. So if you don't want to have memory leak inside your application, you have to make sure that you close all the streams. Okay, no matter how many streams you create depending on your need, but finally you have to close it. And the way we are going to do that is create a dispose method. Literally you can name anything you want, but dispose makes more sense, right? Because we are trying to close it, and it even matches with the page dispose method. So I'm just going to say, or I can just copy this one, this is stream controller dot close. This is what you have to do at the first step. So whenever you create a stream controller, make sure to close it. And now if you go up, this blue underline has been removed. Same thing we will do for the other stream controller. Just say close. But we are not done yet. We created this method, but from nowhere we are calling it. So we have to decide from which place we have to call this dispose. It's very simple. If I go back to this counter example, which is over here, I created the instance of counter block. So what I will do, once the page disposes at that situation, so I will override dispose method, and once this page is going to dispose, that time I will use counter block dot dispose method. It's that simple. So now actually when your page will destroy, it will destroy all the stream controller. It will actually stop listening for any event further, and it will prevent any memory leak possible. So that's all about closing your stream controller. Now let's move to the next topic, where we'll talk about the subscription. So whenever you create a stream controller just like that, how you can have a single subscription and how you can create a broadcasting one. So before we jump to the subscription topic, I want to give a shout out for the channel members, and here it is. Thank you so much Ahmed Sheikh and Sam S for taking subscription of this channel. I really appreciate that. And tomorrow, which is Saturday 5th of September, I'm going to do a live stream dedicated to my pro members. And if you guys are thinking how to become a part of that live stream, go ahead to my channel and click on that join button next to subscribe and take a membership. So at this point of time, we have a small community, so our communication will be one-to-one. We all can discuss and talk about Flutter and other mobile stuff in a closed discussion. So make sure to do that, and let's jump back to the tutorial. So I was talking about single subscription and broadcasting. So if you define your stream controller this way, it creates a single subscription stream controller. What does it mean? That at any point of time in the life cycle of stream controller, there can be only one subscriber. Okay, so whoever is listening, there can be only one person who's listening to the events or outcome of the stream. And if someone else tries to listen to that, it will give exception that there's already a listener for that. So now you'll be saying, okay, for event stream controller, you created a listener, right? So the stream of that is being listened, but at no point of time you have created a listener for state stream controller, counter stream, right? So why is that? Like, why nobody is listening to the counter stream? So I'll tell you the reason. Because whenever you create a stream builder and you provide a stream over here, like counter stream is being used over here, this is actually listening to that stream controller. So what will happen if you provide your stream in the stream builder, and then explicitly if you try to listen over here, it's going to give you exception, and that is like most common exception people are googling. Why I'm getting this duplicate exception, why I'm getting this already subscribed or something like that, because you have already assigned a listener for it. Once you use a stream builder, you are already listening to the events, okay? And then if you try to do it explicitly over here, it is going to give you exception. So that's why I'm using the second stream controller to listen for the change. And if in certain situation, if you want to listen to your stream controller at multiple places, you can do that, of course, with the help of broadcast. And the way you write it, just put broadcast like this. So now what will happen, that this stream controller is now broadcasting. So at one place you're listening over here, okay, and you can have another listener as well. So here I can write control like this. Let me just format it, and then I can say listen, and it will not give any exception if I execute as well. So let me just rebuild and show you real quick. I'm doing all the execution, but it's working fine. But as soon as I remove the broadcast, let me show you that as well. Let me just rebuild, and you see, so now it has started giving exception that the stream has already been listened to. So now I hope you got the point. Whenever you create stream controller this way, it creates a single subscription, so you can only listen once. And if you're already using in that your user interface, it means that you have already listened to it. So if you want to create something where you want to have a multiple listener, go ahead and make it a broadcast. So far we have seen how to work with the stream controller, how to close it, how to take single subscription, broadcast, and all those events. All right, now we're going to talk about the user perspective, like how user interface we can handle different situation. So if you see over here inside my stream builder, I hope my screen is visible. Yep. So inside my stream builder here, I've just returned a text without checking any information. So that's not actually a good practice, because in this video I'm just going to talk about the standard practices, best practices for stream controller and BLoC pattern. So first thing which you have to check is snapshot.data, and this is like fairly common even if you are implementing future builder, you're working with BLoC, you're working with provider, anytime you have to check whether the data is available or not. All right, it should be has data, okay, and then let me just restart. So what I'm checking is whether there's a data available in this snapshot or not. And apart from that, you can check different states of snapshot, like connectivity status. So I'm just going to say snapshot.connectivity state, and it has a lot of state, just to show you, connectivity state .active, .done, .none, .waiting. So if it's like trying to communicate to your server, get the data, it will be active state, so you can show progress dialog, progress indicator, something like that. If it is done, then you can show, like if you are doing some transaction and the connection state says done, you can show a tick mark, something like that. If it's waiting, like if it's in the queue, you can show that particular message. So there's a different way of handling your data inside your stream builder. So depending on the situation, depending on whether it has data, it has what is the connection state, you can define a different widget for that. And also there's something called if snapshot has error. So if snapshot has error, so what happens whenever something goes wrong in your implementation part and something throws exception, that time you can handle that and send your custom error message. So if something goes wrong, you can print that error message over here. So you can just say snapshot.error. Okay, so that is how you handle different situation, different scenario, connection state inside your stream builder. If you're working with a BLoC pattern or a stream controller, it may have data, it may have error, it may have different connection state, and all that you can handle inside your stream builder. So that is all about some of the best practices inside BLoC pattern. Now let's move to actual example where I'll consume one REST API for news application, and that I'm going to show with the help of BLoC pattern. Before we move to that, it's time to give appreciation to our viewers who are commenting, who are liking my videos. So here is the comment of the week and channel of the week. Thank you so much for providing your comment. It really helps me to improve my video and to come up with the better quality content for you guys. And if you're thinking how to come in the featured comment or featured channel next time, you just have to go to comment section and write something about this video, what you felt, and next time you can come in the feature comment and featured channel. So let's get back to the video and implement the live news inside Flutter application with the help of BLoC. Okay, for that what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy a lot of code from my existing repository. So don't worry, let me just show you. I have already created how to consume REST API. You can go ahead and watch this video. I'll put link in the description for this video. So it's fairly simple. You just call API and get the data, and I have already shared a source code for you guys. So you can go to my GitHub profile and you can go through the code if you want. So I'm going to just copy this information real quick so that we don't waste time implementing all these things. So there's a simple method over here which fetches data from the internet. So I'm just going to copy that in our code. And before we do that, let's create another block. So this time I'll call news block.dart, and let me show you my mobile as well. Class news block. So this is the live example which I'm showing. It's fetching the data from the Wall Street news, so you can get the news in your application. And what I'm going to do is copy this toStream controller real quick because we don't want to repeat ourselves. I have already shown how to work with the stream controller and how it's very easy. Like if you want to go check the previous video, this stream controller comes from async. So we'll just resolve that real quick. Okay, and this counter action, instead of counter action, will create our custom action. So I'll say enum news action. This is just for demo purpose. In Unreal example, you can create what you want. So I'm just going to say fetch, delete. We can fetch the news articles, we can delete some. So like that, I've created two enum, and that action I'm going to use over here. So what will be the event of our news? Either user can fetch it or delete it. This is the event, and this is the state what it's going to give out. So it's not going to give integer, instead it's going to give list of articles, right? Now we don't have this article defined. Let me just, okay, before we grab that, let me just put this everywhere. Okay, so basically our state gives list of article, and our input, it takes action from the user. So I'm going to go ahead in my Git source and copy the entire model just real quick. It's very simple thing. I just converted the JSON to model using the online tool QuickType. So I'm going to call news info.dart. Okay, and I'm going to paste this entire thing. So now is everything fine over here? Nothing wrong? Inside news block, now if I resolve, it's going to resolve from news info. Perfect. So we integrated the model inside our block. Now what we have to do, once this news block gets created, we have to listen for the change what user is asking. So as soon as the event stream changes, user is asking for something, we have to listen for that. And then depending on the user request, if the user has provided the event which is equal to news action, why it's not giving suggestion dot fetch. So like if it's user is trying to fetch the news, we have to do this action. If user is trying to delete something, we can do other action. But I'm just going to show you a simple example of fetch. What is wrong here? Okay, if should be small. All right, and now at this point of time, I'm going to copy this model, not the model, I'm going to copy this service, which is fairly simple, just few lines of code. Only this method I'm going to copy and paste over here. It takes a JSON which is inbuilt thing from .convert. It takes this URL, so I'm going to remove that and add our custom URL. And the HTTP, of course, we have to add HTTP library. So I'm just going to copy that as well, where it should be in the pubspec YAML file, right? Where it went, yeah, right over here. So I'm just going to copy and paste inside our dependencies. As simple as that. I hope you people are enjoying, because now actually we started implementing something. First part, I know it was a little boring because I was talking about, you know, theoretical part, and it's sometimes it's important to know theory as well, because all this stuff like memory leak and you know, single subscription, multiple subscription, these things we can only come to know after reading the theory, or at least listening to it. Okay, so I'm just importing this library in my BLoC class. So everything is fine, everything is resolved. So now user is giving the action of fetch. We just have to call get news, just like that, and we'll make it await because it's a future, so it will come after some time. And I'll capture that in, say for example, news variable. Because we are using await, we have to mark it async for sure. So it is a full model, like where news articles are there, news counts are there, everything is there. Inside this, we just interested in news.articles. Okay, so now we have to sync this information, this list of articles, inside our state sync. So here in this straight stream controller, okay, it's named countersync. So let me just change it real quick. Instead of countersync, let us call it you know, news sync, so that it makes more sense. Instead of counter stream, we'll make it news stream, just like that. So whatever information we have to put that inside our news sync. So I'll say news sync dot add, and we will put all these articles. Easy peasy, right? So far so good, everything you understood. We are just implementing the BLoC pattern first, and then we will create a user interface for that. So this time we are going reverse way. All right, so everything looks fine to me. We are adding all the events. Let's handle a failure case as well. So say for example, something goes wrong while trying to fetch that. So I'm going to wrap everything inside, or maybe just for fetch. So if something goes wrong while fetching the data, I can wrap everything. Okay, click on this bulb icon here and say try catch. And when something goes wrong, just give a new sync. So to the same sync, we will add, instead of adding data, we will add error this time. And I will say something went wrong, just a generic message. And this is what it will display on the user interface. So if you add error from here, it is going to have snapshot.hasError, and from there you can access this same message. You can even put your own custom model if you want. This is up to you, like what you want to provide as an error. So that is all fine. Now even like everything is fine, everything is looking good to me. Let's go ahead and run this. And of course we have to create a page for that. I'm just adding all the files in the lib directory, so don't do that in your actual project. So I'm just going to write news page dot, because I don't want to waste your time, because this is not a basic lecture where I'll talk about, you know, managing a folder and all stuff. I'm just going a little bit fast so that we can cover a lot of things. Import material, and using stateful, I'm going to create news page, very easy. And then I'm going to say scaffold, or better, I can copy this entire thing from here. So I'll go to lib. Here I have managed the folder structure. If you want to follow that, follow this structure. I'm just going to copy the build method over here. I'm not sure where it ends. I'll just copy till this point. Okay, I hope it's right. Yep, it's totally fine. And this news model come from the news info dart, and everything is fine. All right, so it has something called, okay, so let's copy this as well. It will be helpful for us. Fine. So what is happening, if you see the API tutorial which I've created, there we have implemented an API manager, and on init of the page we are calling that API manager and getting data assigned to this one. And let me just also resolve this date format. It comes from the internationalization package, everything is fine. Still there's one error, which is API manager, right? So instead of creating future model, what I'm going to do, you already know, we have to create an instance of our BLoC. So the way we do it, final, you can name whatever you want, news BLoC, and it will be of type news BLoC. So we got our instance of news BLoC, and using this news BLoC, say news BLoC, what we have to call is we have to put event inside our stream controller. So I'll say event sync dot add, and what event we have to provide? News action dot fetch. You can, of course, you can call delete, and for that you'll have to write a delete implementation, but I'm going to take example of only fetch. Let me show you my screen as well. So basically what I have done is I have created this news BLoC instance, and whenever page initializes, at that time I'm just putting one event in the event stream that I want to fetch all the news items. Okay, and then of course we have to listen to the stream changes. So instead of future builder, it will become stream builder, and see how easy it is. You just change future to stream and you're good to go. So Flutter makes it very easy with the help of their widget hierarchy, that everything works fine. It's very simple, even though like stream builder, you have stream, you have builder, future builder, it's future, it's builder. It's very simple. Now the stream builder, you can see that it's accepting news model, but whereas our BLoC, it provides list of articles. So we have to change that implementation. The news model was previous implementation. Okay, so I'll say I want list of articles. That's fine, and it should come from news BLoC, of course, news BLoC dot stream, news stream, right? So this is so far so good, and now we are not listening to the whole model, we are only taking list of articles. So now we can remove these articles because this data actually is the list of article. Okay, so I can just get rid of this keyword from here, and I think everything is fine. So let's give it a run. I'm going to go to my main page, and instead of calling my home page, I'll call news page, just like that, and it doesn't accept any title. So let me remove that. So when I run my application, I'm getting this error that articles was called on null, and the reason, we have to check inside our BLoC. So let's go to the news BLoC, and here it tries to fetch that. Okay, so what happened, it's trying to add news articles, and to be honest, it didn't fetch anything, and something happened. Of course we can handle that. So instead, like, we have to put a check over here, if news not equal to null. This is something extra which came in between, so I just want to show you how to handle those things as well. So call news sync.add only when your news is not null, like you actually fetch some data from the internet. So currently there's no data because I didn't provide the URL itself, so it's giving exception. So if your news is not null, then only add it to articles, else what you do is give it an error. So I'm just going to put this line. Okay, and let me just recompile it once again. So now you can see that it's trying to just load and load. So it's not handling the has error part because it has actually received an error. So we can go ahead and quickly change that implementation. So I'm going to implement if snapshot.hasError, then just return me a centered widget, and inside that I'll just put simply a text widget. Okay, yep, that's fine, and the value will be, of course, snapshot.error. Okay, so whatever user is providing, that we're going to display it back. And if it's null, it's a good idea to handle the null situation inside text. You can just say error, something like that. Okay, now you can see that the user interface has updated with something went wrong. So whenever there's an error happening inside your snapshot, you can handle this way. So let's go ahead and fix that error. Okay, I'm going to provide the link. I hope it should be there in the, yeah, it's there over here, and I can just copy paste, and of course it requires API key. So let me just go to news.org and get my API key. If you want, you can take your own API key. Okay, so now things are fine. If I rerun the application, let's just check. So it reloads, it fetches, and we have the news article with the help of BLoC Pattern. Alright, so what we did, we wrote a simple implementation. We just created these 3 files where actually our blog thing goes. We have a news info where our model goes, and this is a news page where we have defined the user interface. So let me just close this counter block. So let me just close this from news page first. So once this page gets destroyed, you know the drill, right? I have shown in the beginning. So you have to overwrite what you have to overwrite? Dispose, right? Okay, inside dispose you just called newsblog.dispose. That's it. So I hope the names are same. Stream controller, we are closing that and we are good to go. I hope you people enjoyed the video, and let me just talk about the BLoC library. If you don't want to create all this complicated stuff, you can go ahead and use the BLoC and BLoC Flutter BLoC library. Now in future videos I'm going to focus on CodeX, because a lot of people has recommended me on YouTube comment. Some people have written me mail as well. And actually when I started looking in the CodeX, it's very powerful. You know, you get the navigation, routing mechanism, everything handled. You get a state management out of the box, and you get a lot of other features like validators, email validator, storage, you know, all this fancy stuff you get just with the CodeX package. Okay, so if you want to try that, I'm planning to create tutorial on this series because many of people have requested. Let me know in the comment section what you feel about it, whether I should do or not. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll put link in the description whatever I have talked in between, and of course I'll put link for my previous video where I have shown implementation how actually stream controller works. Okay, give it a thumbs up if you have enjoyed the video, subscribe the channel, and if you want to support, if you're kind enough to provide your support to CodeX channel, go ahead and take membership. And with that, I promise whatever I take from you, I am going to give back more than that. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.